Okay, kids, so what you're going to need today is you're going to need your noun flip chart and a pencil, and if you are someone who likes straight lines, a ruler maybe, and that's it. So we're just going to add on to your noun flip chart. So let's go ahead. Okay, so the ablative case is a new case, and it's going to be going down here in the last row, the light blue row. So what I'm going to start by doing is I'm going to underline here below the green to give me that like tab here at the bottom. Okay, so to give me a line across the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is here I'm going to write ablative. Okay, that's the name of the case. In my endings, the first one is an A with a long mark, and the bottom one is IS with a long mark over the I. The A is singular, and the IS is plural. Singular and plural in the second column are O with a long mark and IS with a long mark over the I. Singular and plural for the third column, singular is E, no long mark, and then IBUS in the plural. So that is your, oh my gosh, I'm so bad at this, kids. That is your ablative tab, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and I'm going to fold the blue down so it's flat. And I'm writing now on my ablative tab. So I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier for my previous cases. And I'm going to split it so that I have 2/3 of the space blocked off over here on the left and then 1/3 on the right. And I'm going to write uses here on the left and examples on the right. So the first thing that I'm going to write, the only thing that I'm writing today is object of a SID space, and I'm going to capital all of those letters, preposition. And then I'm going to draw an arrow up pointing to the back of this green tab. So it's going to look like this. Okay? Pointing up to the green tab. Now, the ablative case has 147 uses in Latin. If you take all 4 years of Latin, you will get 10 to 12. This year, we're going to get 4. So I'm going to also need to use the back of this green to be able to put all of my information. So what I'm going to put here on the back of the green is I am going to write the words SID space. Okay? SID space. This is a mnemonic device that is going to help me remember my 8 ablative case prepositions. So these are words after which there must be a noun that has an ablative case ending. A, o, e, is, or ibus. So the first S stands for sine, S-I-N-E, and that means without. The next word is in, and you might be like, what? We already had in. I know. So I want you to put a box around it to identify it as special. And then an arrow, and this means in or on. The next word is de, and that means down from. So de, as I said, is down from or occasionally of. Okay? This is super, super occasionally because there's actually a much more common way of saying of in Latin. The second S, the beginning of the word space, is sub. I meant to write the word and I wrote the arrow by accident. Okay, it's sub. You draw an arrow moving over, and of course that means under. The P is pro. Pro means in front of or for. F-O-R. The next word is A, comma, A-B. And that means by, B-Y, or away from. The C in SID space stands for cum, C-U-M. And that means with a living being. Living beings refer to humans and pets, but not to plants. Finally, the E is E, comma, EX. I'm going to draw an arrow over, and that means out of. So, SID space is going to look like this in your chart. Ooh, there we go. SID space. Sine, inde, sub, pro, a, or ab, cum, e, or x. What I would like you to do, and I would recommend doing this in pencil, is make a line going down here. And then for each of these, if you can think of one, create a derivative. So, for example, sine means without. This is not going to be particularly helpful to you guys, but the word senza in Italiano means without. In French, sin, S-I-N, means without. So those are two words that come into modern languages from the Latin word sine. What might be easier is sub, right? Sub means under. So a derivative of sub would be subway, submarine. So try to come up with a derivative for the SID space prepositions, okay? Things that are going to help you remember what they mean. Now, how does this work grammatically? So if you have a prepositional phrase that has one of these 8 words, okay, the word after it has to have an ablative ending. So let's put an example down here in the example section. I'm going to put a number 1, and then I'm going to write Cornelia sub arbore sedet. Okay? Cornelia sub arbore sedet. So I have to ask myself which word in this sentence is a SID space preposition. And of course, the answer is sub. So I'm going to circle sub. Sub demands that there is a word that follows it with an ablative ending. And of course, we do have that. Our ablative endings are down here, a, is, o, is, e, and ibus. And the word arbore over here does end in that short e. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw an arrow from sub to the e ending of arbore so I can show myself and remind myself that those two words are connected. And that, students, is the ablative case. So once you're finished making your ablative case tab, please take a picture of your noun flip chart opened up like this so I can see you've done both sides, and upload it to Google Classroom for today's assignment. And then please make sure that you always bring your noun chart with you to class, because we will absolutely be using this a lot. I wanted to remind you, because I forgot to remind you in class today, that on Monday you do have a vocab quiz for the Chapter 9 vocab list. And those are the Quizlet words. Okay? All right, I'll see you guys on Monday.